Everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 hertz, the universal frequency. So today, I'm gonna go over how the media, specifically the mainstream media, keeps you looking outside of yourself when the inward stream of consciousness is more of a progression, right? So let's get into this. So the mainstream media, and this is for all the regions of the media, right? Has a tendency to keep people looking outside of themselves, right? Even the so-called conscious region of the mainstream is doing this exact thing, right? Which doesn't make them not conscious beings or conscious media. More so, it's taking a specific route and doing in a spiritual awakening, right? Basically, what I mean, there's media, there's mainstream media. This keeps you looking outside of yourself. The inward experience is what you really want, right? And that's the most simple way that I can put it. The moment that you turn inwards, which is which is one of the first phases or stages of spiritual awakening, is the moment that you are liberated, because that's where the real exploration begins. Death and rebirth takes place as you look within yourself. The media has the reverse polarity. Specifically, mainstream science, modern day science, is pretty much taking things that the mystics have known for thousands of years or even longer, and they're just giving imagery. It's just a creation of imagery which is flattening out the whole inward experience, which can be omnidimensional. So it's working. The whole mainstream program to keep you looking outside of yourself is working through imagery, which is a very, very, very minuscule dimensional level. So it's regulating a specific dimensional level, which is that of imagery, right? Imagery, when there's direct experience, fully immersified in omnidimensionality, then imagery doesn't exist, because you already are immersed in you're already immersed in an experience. It's like getting used to virtual reality, where you immerse yourself in a whole experience and then looking at pictures. Or it's like going from pictures to video, or video to pictures, my bad. You aren't gonna settle for pictures, imagery, when you're immersified in an actual experience. That would make you sick, in a sense, or that would be stagnation, or that would be just confusing other people, which is what they're doing with the whole movement. They're just confusing people, so that individuals can continue to progress while the mass continues to stay confused, right? So they create various different imagery based on scientific progression, scientific exploration, scientific discoveries. They create little imageries, and then they feed mass with these imageries. But all of this has already been known about, and it's already been experienced, right? The mystics will tell you this. No matter what mystic you're going through, no matter which mystic you're talking to, they're gonna tell you that that's the inner experience, right? They just dwindled it down to small imagery, and then are feeding people with that amidst spiritual starvation. So they're taking the whole fully immersive spiritual experience, and they're giving imagery, one picture, 2 or 3 pictures of something that is ineffable, right? Which can just be had within oneself. So what they did pretty much is they created a whole drought of spirituality. People in mass around the globe aren't they're not getting that spiritual experience, that higher orgasm. It's no longer there. Amidst that starvation, because spirituality is an aspect of our being that we need in order to nourish ourselves on a deeper level, a soul level, or a level of the soul. We need spirituality to nourish ourselves on the level of the soul. So if we're not getting that, we continue to remain disconnected from the soul as a collection. And then that's whenever they come in with the mainstream imagery and the whole mainstream program, and then they try and temper the mass from there, right? Instead of just teaching very practical spirituality and fully immersing oneself in one's own inner experience to nourish the soul through that spiritual experience, that transcendental experience, they're just feeding the starving masses with little imagery of what is to be experienced in one's own interiority. And they're only doing that to keep people disconnected in that starving state. And they would only be doing that out of the tempering, right? Because they're tempering the mass. And this is just that's just a little bit of mainstream science, right? Mainstream science has been doing that for decades or longer. But it's not only in the scientific movement, modern scientific movement. This is all throughout media. Whatever media that you are watching, you're gonna find that same program, because that's the program that it acts off of. Memes, you know, the whole trend of memes, memetics. There's frequencies, there's information that come with these things, and obviously it's to manipulate mass. Not that memes are bad, but people are blinded to the information that is concealed within the package itself. It's quantic, which is the level that they're working on, while you're staying blinded to the liberating spiritual experience, which comes as you distance yourself more from the machine or the Maya. Mainstream music is extremely good at that same thing, right? Mainstream music, mainstream entertainment, this whole industry is really good at pushing that whole program, right? Even the so-called conscious community of the mainstream, is also stuck in that, right? But then they're also talking about it in the same exact way. But there's no real liberation from it. Because if there was, then obviously there would be a difference and a distance in it. So let me see what is it? What is it called? Oh, the mainstream program is to feed people with imagery. Instead of actually having people immersify themselves in the inner experience. See, mainstream conscious entertainment doesn't have people do that at all. They use other means of mediation in order to do it a lot of the time, and there's only a mediation factor because they're not getting right to the point with it, and there's a reason for that. Like I said, it would be different if they were just teaching it, or not only teaching it, but if they were actually bringing that degree of change to the mainstream. But yeah, there's just a feed of imagery that is supposed to replace the entirety of the spiritual experience in its immersification. So the spiritual experience is a constant. This is a transcend. It keeps you, it's a constant within your own reality to allow you to transcend all the other realms in which you found fixation within, which is the whole disattached aspect of it, of the process of transcending through the spiritual experience. So this is like, once again, it's a constant, fully immersive, omnidimensional experience, and to feed people and then push systems which keep people from being able to experience any type of spirituality is just a manipulation tactic for keeping people disconnected from the soul in collection, right? So being able to experience a black hole, and this is one found in the mainstream science movement, being able to experience a black hole is let me see, it's a very transcendental experience, being able to experience a black hole, going into the black hole, going to the whole wormhole, and then obviously being able to make that quantum leap and see how it affects a specific connection to any type of realm that is being inhabited. And that's a fully immersive experience that you can have within yourself for free. You don't have to charge anything for it, nothing like that. But you don't have to work for it, you don't have to do anything like that. This something just happens the moment that you open yourself up properly, which is yoga, aligning yourself properly. Mainstream doesn't teach you that. It'll show you imagery of a black hole, and then it'll just keep people going with that type of imagery, right? Which is nothing compared to the actual experience of this. So the whole thing about that is that you can have that experience within yourself if you open yourself up properly, or you can stay looking outside of yourself and just get imagery of that experience, which is just a picture in an extremely lower dimensional realm relative to the actual experience of being able to traverse a black hole or a wormhole, right? So that aspect, that transcendental aspect of it, is coming with the inner experience. The mainstream is going to keep you looking outside of yourself so that you never put the attention into looking inwards. Because the moment that you do, their whole system of imagery is it begins to dematerialize or disintegrate away, and they can't actually manipulate anymore through that. So just turning inwards, making that one step and immersifying the experience is the only thing that needs to be done in order to just keep yourself from falling into the trap of imagery. You don't want to settle for a picture whenever you can have an entirely transcendental experience for no cost, completely free, because it's just within your nature and in your code to be able to experience something beyond. And once again, this isn't only in science. Science does this all the time. Underground science is much more what is it called? It's far more advanced than what mainstream science is feeding the mass, right? But even underground science is still nowhere near the inner experience, right? So you can get all that, and any mystic is going to tell you the same thing. The inner experience is going to reveal everything to you, right? They can show pictures of any type of cosmological process taking place, but you can actually immersify yourself in the cosmos consciously. And the moment that you do that is the moment that you start to understand exactly what they're doing to people with the imageries. They're just feeding starving people who are starving of that cosmic consciousness, right? But that's been it for today's video. I do thank everybody for watching. Once again, peace out, one love, and have a great afternoon.